10 people boarded the Mary Celeste. Not one of them was ever seen again. On December 4th, 1872, a British merchant ship called the Dei Gratia was sailing through the North Atlantic, about 400 miles east of the Azores. The weather was choppy. The seas were rough. Nothing unusual for that time of year. Then, the lookout spotted something. A ship, under partial sail, moving, but not being steered. It was drifting, erratically, the way a ship moves when no one is at the wheel. The Dei Gratia's captain, David Morehouse, signaled. No response. He watched the vessel for 2 hours. Still no one appeared on deck. No signal. No movement. He sent a boarding party across. What they found has been debated for over 150 years. The ship was the Mary Celeste. She was in seaworthy condition. Her cargo, 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol, was intact. There was food and water for 6 months. The crew's personal belongings were untouched. Valuable items were still in the captain's cabin. There were no signs of violence, no signs of a struggle, no damage consistent with an attack. But there were also no people. 10 souls. Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and 7 crew members were gone. The ship's only lifeboat was missing. The navigation instruments were gone. The ship's papers had been removed. Somebody had abandoned this vessel, deliberately, methodically, and then vanished. The question that has haunted maritime history ever since is not just what happened to them, it's why they left a perfectly good ship in the first place. This is case file number 003, the Mary Celeste. Before we analyze what happened, let's establish what kind of vessel we're dealing with. Because the Mary Celeste was not a cursed ship, despite what popular culture would have you believe. She was a working merchant brigantine, built in Nova Scotia in 1861, originally named Amazon. Her first captain died on her maiden voyage. She collided with another vessel in the English Channel. She ran aground. By 1867, salvaged, sold, and rechristened the Mary Celeste. Not cursed, just unlucky. By 1872, she'd been sailing for over a decade, a known quantity, a working ship, not a ghost. In October 1872, she docked in New York Harbor and took on 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol, industrial ethanol, destined for fortifying Italian wines. Just cargo, or so everyone assumed. The cargo belonged to a shipping firm. The ship was partly owned by her captain, Benjamin Briggs. We'll come back to him. On November 7th, 1872, the Mary Celeste departed New York for Genoa, Italy. Fair weather, sound ship, experienced crew, nothing suggesting anything other than a routine crossing. The log records daily positions and routine entries, nothing alarming. The last entry is dated November 25th, approximately 400 miles from where the ship would eventually be found. Calm, professional. After that, silence.
Let's pause and examine who was aboard, because understanding who vanished tells us a great deal about why they might have left. Captain Benjamin Briggs was 37, from a Massachusetts seafaring family. 5 of his brothers were also captains. Experienced, respected, cautious. A devout Christian and strict teetotaler who did not drink, which matters, since it rules out one theory: a captain drunk on his own cargo. Surviving letters between Benjamin and Sarah describe a partnership. She wrote to her mother about trusting him completely with her life and their daughters. Briggs had never lost a ship, never lost a crewman. He brought his family aboard because he believed the voyage was safe. And that's exactly what he did. Also aboard, his wife, Sarah Elizabeth Briggs, 31, and their daughter, Sophia Matilda Briggs, 2 years old. Not Briggs's first time bringing family to sea, Sarah was a seasoned sailor's wife who knew the risks and accepted them. We don't know Sarah's exact words that November morning in New York Harbor, but it's not hard to imagine a mother wrapping a 2-year-old against the Atlantic chill. A father lifting his daughter aboard a ship he trusted completely.
A family who believed they'd step off together in Genoa. The crew: Albert Richardson, first mate; Andrew Gilling, second mate; Edward Head, steward and cook; 4 German sailors: Volkert and Bose Lorenzen, Arian Martins, Gottlieb Gutschall. 10 people. Standard complement for a brigantine this size. You don't bring your 2-year-old onto a ship you think might sink. Briggs' decision to sail with his family is itself evidence that nothing about this voyage concerned him. And yet, within 3 weeks, all 10 of them would be gone.
This is where the case file gets dense. I'm going to walk you through exactly what the Dei Grazia's boarding party found, item by item, because the physical evidence is what eliminates or supports every theory we'll examine. But first, picture the boarding party's first steps onto that deck, the ship creaking under their boots. No voices, no footsteps but their own. A lantern swinging gently, unlit. A half-finished breakfast, untouched. A child's toy, still on the cabin floor. Every door they opened revealed a room that looked like someone had just stepped out, and no one who ever stepped back in. Now, the evidence, item by item. Exhibit A, the ship and its supplies. The Mary Celeste was seaworthy. Some water in the hold, normal for a wooden ship of that era. One pump had been disassembled, meaning the crew knew about the water and had checked it. There was enough food and fresh water for 6 months. The galley was orderly. Nobody left because they were starving.
Exhibit B, the cargo. All 1,701 barrels of alcohol were accounted for. 9 barrels were found empty. These had been made of red oak, a porous wood, and had leaked. The rest were intact. No theft. No pirates or thieves touched this cargo. Exhibit C, personal effects and the sword. This is where the picture gets strange and specific. The crew's belongings were undisturbed. Sea boots still aboard. Pipes and tobacco still in their quarters. You don't abandon ship without your boots. Captain Briggs' cabin was orderly. His valuables, including money, were still there. So was his sword, unsheathed but not bloodied. If this had been piracy, they'd have taken the money. If it had been mutiny, they'd have taken the valuables. And the official Admiralty inquiry found no evidence of violence. Popular retellings often invent details we're not going to repeat here. Exhibit D, what was missing. Here's what was gone: the lifeboat, the navigation instruments, the ship's papers. And this is the detail that matters most. The lifeboat had been deliberately launched, not torn away by a storm, lowered using the ship's davits. Someone made a conscious decision to get into that boat. Exhibit E, the captain's log. The final entry, November 25th, 1872, 9 days before the ship was found. Calm, professional, no sign of distress. After that, silence.
A seaworthy ship. Months of food and water. Cargo intact. Valuables untouched.
No violence, no struggle. But 10 people, including a captain's wife and child, deliberately boarded a lifeboat and sailed away from a vessel that was not sinking. The question isn't just what killed them. It's what made 10 rational people decide that a small open lifeboat in the North Atlantic was safer than staying aboard their own ship.
Over the last 150 years, a lot of people have tried to answer that question. Some explanations are plausible, some are absurd. Let's evaluate each one against the evidence. Theories 1 through 4. What didn't happen? Piracy? Nothing was stolen. Pirates don't leave money behind, and they'd have no reason to take navigation instruments while ignoring the captain's cash. Mutiny? No blood, no struggle. Mutineers don't abandon a perfectly good ship in the middle of the ocean, and this crew had sailed with Briggs before, with no known tension. A waterspout or rogue wave? No weather damage consistent with either. No stripped rigging, no water damage below decks. This was ordinary Atlantic weather. Insurance fraud? The salvage payout Briggs stood to gain was trivial next to the ship he partly owned and the career he'd be abandoning. And here's the fatal problem. You don't involve your 2-year-old daughter in a fraud that requires you to vanish forever. 4 theories, 4 dead ends.
Theory 5. The Sea Monster, popularized by Arthur Conan Doyle's fictionalized 1884 short story, which, by the way, is the reason most people know this story at all. Doyle's account, published anonymously and presented almost as fact, invented dramatic details, including a character calling the ship cursed and adding fictional violence. Much of what people know about the Mary Celeste comes from that fiction, not from the evidence-based. Verdict: fiction, not evidence-based.
Theory 6. The ethanol vapor deflagration. This is the theory most consistent with the physical evidence, and in April 2026, it received its strongest scientific support yet from a University of Manchester study building on earlier UCL research. Remember those 9 empty barrels from Exhibit B? Red oak, more porous than white oak. The alcohol had been slowly leaking into the hold. At a certain concentration, in an enclosed space, ethanol vapor becomes explosive. And the Manchester team demonstrated something crucial. That kind of vapor ignition can produce a sudden pressure wave flash, violent enough to panic a crew, without leaving lasting burn marks or destroying the ship.
Now, imagine you're Captain Briggs. You're below decks. You hear a loud bang. You see a flash of flame. The air itself seems to ignite. You don't know if the whole ship is about to explode. You just know that 1,700 barrels of flammable liquid are sitting in your hold, and something just went very wrong. What do? You get your family into the lifeboat. You order the crew to launch it. You take the navigation instruments and the ship's papers, because in your mind, you're temporarily abandoning ship, and you'll need those when you return. You tie the lifeboat to the Mary Celeste with a rope, so you can be pulled along behind the ship until it's safe to reboard. And then the rope snaps. The weather turns. Or the ship, under partial sail, outpaces a small boat being rowed by 10 people. And the lifeboat, now adrift in the North Atlantic, with no supplies, no shelter, and hundreds of miles from land, disappears.
This theory explains the evidence. The orderly abandonment, the missing lifeboat and instruments, the intact cargo, the lack of violence, the disassembled pump, Briggs checking for water because something seemed wrong below decks. He wasn't a fool. He was a man who believed his ship was about to explode, and he may have been right.
In my assessment, the ethanol vapor deflagration theory is the explanation most consistent with the evidence. It accounts for every physical fact we've examined, without resorting to speculation or supernatural forces. The chain of events, as I reconstruct it. Alcohol leaked from the red oak barrels, building vapor in the hold. An ignition source triggered a deflagration. Briggs, believing the ship might explode, ordered an orderly evacuation into the lifeboat. The lifeboat was tethered to the ship, but the rope broke, or the ship drifted beyond reach. 10 people, adrift without adequate supplies, perished at sea. This is not a ghost story. It is a tragedy, an industrial hazard not understood in 1872, combined with a decision that was rational given what its maker knew. Captain Briggs was not reckless, not incompetent, not a victim of pirates or sea monsters. He was a father who saw a flash of fire below decks and made a choice to get his family out, not knowing that choice would seal all their fates.
The Mary Celeste mystery has a credible, scientifically supported explanation. The ethanol vapor deflagration theory fits the physical evidence, explains the crew's behavior, and has now been experimentally supported, most recently in 2026. The tragedy was not in what the crew did wrong. It was in the limits of what they could have known. Somewhere in the North Atlantic, the Mary Celeste's lifeboat disappeared forever. We may finally understand why the crew left, but we'll probably never know where they went. If you want to be there when the next case file opens, hit subscribe, because history doesn't stop hiding things, and neither will we. Until the next case, keep questioning history.